Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a Victoria man faces federal charges. We'll have the latest details from his trial. And this year's Toys for Tots campaign launches, making sure no child goes without gifts this Christmas. The Supreme Court considers the question, who has the power to set tariffs?
And good afternoon, everybody. It was a beautiful day. Temperatures warming up into the 80s, making it very comfortable. But this is only until the weekend, because next week we're back to the chill. We'll be talking about it coming up in a moment.
And a Texas professor cracked the code to Taylor Swift's success. We'll have a look at his surprising discovery. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. A federal jury is hearing the case of a Victoria man accused of multiple counts of money laundering. 25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman is live at the federal courthouse in downtown Victoria with the latest on where the case stands today. Amaya?
A grand jury indicted a local business owner, Jason Brannon, in June of last year. Now he is on trial at the federal courthouse. The jury trial started Monday. Brannon is accused of 5 counts of money laundering. Charges came after a joint investigation by the DEA and IRS Criminal Investigation Division. According to case documents, Brannon is accused of laundering more than $600,000 through this company, J&B Cleaning, High Tech Service Company, and Hills Lawn and Tree Service. And if he is found guilty, Brannon will face prison time, fines, and seizure of property. The jury was also released early today, and they will resume tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Reporting live from downtown Victoria, Amaya Norman, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
Registration is now open for the Marine Corps Reserve's 78th annual Toys for Tots campaign. Registration started last Saturday, going through Monday, December 15th. Parents or guardians can get their children signed up to receive gifts. The local Toys for Tots director also encourages those who are able to donate any toy they can, so children do not go without gifts this holiday season.
It's really important to me. Myself, I've taken it personally because I've actually used Toys for Tots in the past for myself because, you know, being a struggling parent and, you know, not being able to provide to give the kids a Christmas, you know, and there are people out there to help you to make sure that you don't have that. I mean, lots of parents already have trouble, you know, coming up with bill money, rent money, you know, so this is just a little off their shoulders.
There is also a Toys for Tots app where you can find donation locations, apply for assistance, or donate online right from your smartphone. Well, things are warming up a little bit, but I'm still really enjoying this nice weather. The sun is out and it's great to get outside. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for a first look at the forecast. And Mac, I just hope that this weather sticks around for at least a little while so that we can enjoy it.
We got a few days. In fact, I was passing by some guys that were working outside, and they recognized me and they go, "Hey, nice weather." So they're enjoying it. I'm glad you can. So the daytimes are still mild, but the mornings are a little on the cool side. Thing is, there's a whole lot of stuff changing in northern portions of the country. In fact, they got a polar plunge expected. They've got a big winter storm on the west coast. Will any of that affect us? We'll have that answer for you coming up a little bit later on. Shawna, back to you.
The decision of whether President Trump's tariffs are constitutional is officially in the Supreme Court's hands. ABC's Christian Cordero has details on what arguments justices heard today.
Today, 7 months after President Trump declared Liberation Day, the fate of his sweeping global tariffs is tied up in court. The Supreme Court is considering whether Trump had the right to use his economic emergency powers when he imposed the tariffs, suing the administration, several states, and small business owners, including Victor Schwartz, a wine and liquor importer, who spoke outside the court today after oral arguments.
For nearly 40 years, my family has built this business from the ground up. Today, reckless tariffs threaten everything we've achieved.
Trump used his executive powers by saying trade imbalances and the inflow of fentanyl cause a national security emergency. Plaintiffs today argued trade disputes are not an emergency and only Congress has the power to set tariffs. Some justices were skeptical of how the president alone imposed the tariffs, including Trump-appointed Justice Neil Gorsuch, when questioning the administration's attorney.
Could the president impose a 50% tariff on gas-powered cars and auto parts to deal with the unusual and extraordinary threat from abroad of climate change?
It's very likely that could be done. Very likely.
I think that has to be the logic of your view.
Yeah, in other words, obviously this administration would say that's a hoax, it's not a real crisis, but...
I'm sure you would.
Yes.
Less clear whether the justices interpret a tariff as a tax, which is controlled by Congress, or a regulation, which the president may have the power to decide. And if the court decides Trump's tariffs are unconstitutional, focus shifts to the $89 billion the government has so far collected in tariff revenue, and whether it would have to pay that back. Legal scholars across the political spectrum consider this case a toss-up. The Supreme Court is expected to rule on it by next spring. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, the Supreme Court.
At least 7 people are dead and 11 others hurt after a UPS cargo plane crashed near Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Officials say the MD-11 went down just after takeoff last night, cutting a fiery path through nearby businesses and roads. 3 crew members were on board and 4 people on the ground were also killed. Hundreds of firefighters worked through the night to contain the blaze, and city officials say the airport is expected to reopen today. If you see news happening, give our newsroom a call at 361-576-0026, or you can send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. A TCU professor found the secret formula behind Taylor Swift's biggest hits. Andrew Ledbetter analyzed all 10 of Swift's albums and found songs with the most word overlap became the most popular. The Communications Studies chair ran lyrics through a computer program and discovered songs sharing at least 13 words in common create mathematical connections. That number 13 matches Swift's lucky number. The research proves that songs with more lyrical connections to other tracks tend to become fan favorites and chart toppers.
If 2 Taylor Swift songs share at least 13 words in common, then those 2 songs, mathematically, it made sense to treat those as connected. Okay, she really is the mastermind. I'm sure there's no way she could plan to that level of detail. And there was a mathematical rationale for that cutoff, but I just really like that cutoff as a Swiftie.
Ledbetter measured popularity through Spotify streams, critic evaluations, and social media mentions. The Swiftie dad and researcher hopes to teach a Taylor Swift seminar next, combining his academic expertise with his musical passion. Here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca wave. The Seadrift City Council is moving forward on its wastewater treatment plant rehab project, and Port O'Connor Elementary School kindergarten learned about bats in class. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Just hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Fresh peaches recalled nationwide. We'll let you know which ones are a health concern and why. Plus, weight loss drug prices could drop dramatically. The details on the latest negotiations.
A powerful story of brotherhood and strength lives on beyond the game. One player's legacy is inspiring a new season and a new generation.
Walks around the hallway, goes up and down 2 flights of stairs, runs up the stairs, and they're like, whoa, 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 take it easy, you know? But that's not him. That's not who he was. He was gonna push himself.
Don't miss Legacy of Courage with weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson. A 25 News Now Extra, Thursday night at 10.
Democrats winning big on election night in America with key races in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia. Exit polls showing the top concern among voters was affordability. As ABC's Rena Roy reports, President Trump today offering a reason why Republicans lost.
Zohran Mamdani ushering in a new era in the nation's largest city after being elected the first Muslim and South Asian mayor of New York. The 34-year-old self-proclaimed Democratic socialist winning the majority vote.
Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Mamdani vowing to make the city more affordable, pledging free childcare for all, a rent freeze, and free buses.
I'm looking forward to showing the power of an example here in New York City, an example of what it means to not just diagnose the despair in working people's lives as the cost of living crisis, but to deliver on it. And that's the contrast between myself and President Trump.
2 Democratic women also taking home wins last night in Virginia and New Jersey's high-stakes gubernatorial races. Governor-elect of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, also focused on affordability.
I started the campaign like I always start campaigns, listening to thousands of New Jerseyans and what was on their minds, and it was affordability, it was housing, healthcare, utility costs.
In Virginia, Abigail Spanberger flipping control of the state and making history as the state's first female governor.
Virginians want a governor who will not only stand up for them, for our jobs, for our economy, but also lay out clear plans to really impact and address the issues that matter to them.
President Trump reacting to the results today during a breakfast with Senate Republicans.
If you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor.
And a big win for Democrats in California, too, where voters changed the state's congressional map, an attempt to pick up more seats for Democrats, countering Republican redistricting in states like Texas ahead of next year's midterm elections. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
There's a health alert if you have recently bought fresh peaches. Moonlight Companies is recalling certain white and yellow peaches sold nationwide between September 16th and October 29th over possible listeria contamination. No illnesses have been reported, but the FDA says the bacteria was found in the packing facility. Packages labeled Washington or organic are not part of the recall. Related to this, JFE Franchising is recalling some snowfruit peach salsa sold at Kroger. Customers can return it for a full refund. Consumers could soon see big savings on popular weight loss drugs. Sources say the Trump administration is close to deals with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk that could drop prices to as low as $149 a month, down from around $1,000. The agreements could also let Medicare cover the drugs for some patients. An announcement could come as soon as tomorrow, but officials say talks are still ongoing and nothing is final yet. Nearly 3 million adults and about 500,000 children in the U.S. live with epilepsy. The Epilepsy Foundation says knowing what to do during a seizure can save a life. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither shares how remembering the 3 S's can help.
It's a brain disorder that causes recurring unprovoked seizures, and an epilepsy diagnosis can happen to anyone at any age.
Many people think of epilepsy as a disease that's akin to an electrical storm in the brain.
Dr. Dilip Nair with Cleveland Clinic says that disturbance in the brain's electrical signaling presents as a seizure. It can manifest in different ways in a person with epilepsy.
The most common type of seizure people are aware of are the tonic-clonic seizures, or sometimes used to be called the grand mal type seizures, where people can fall and have a stiffening of their body along with jerking movements.
Nair says remember the 3 S's for seizure care. The first S is for stay. Remain calm and stay with the person having the seizure. Look at your watch and time it from the beginning to the end.
If it lasts longer than 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, that's considered a long seizure and you should call 911 right away.
The second S is for safe. Keep the person safe by moving them away from anything that could be harmful, like sharp objects.
There's no need to put anything into their mouth. They're not going to swallow their tongue. That doesn't actually occur.
And finally, the third S is for side. If the person is not awake and aware, turn them onto their side.
So that if there's any sort of emesis or vomit or spit, comes out of their mouth rather than make back into their lungs.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor says there are several treatment options for epilepsy, but it's important to get care at a specialized center in order to receive the most up-to-date treatments. Here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record this week. A spotlight on hometown hero, Lieutenant Bethany Hobbs with the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office. Plus, Cuero High School gets a grant to provide industry-standard media tools benefiting audiovisual students and improving school and community coverage. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com. To get more news, weather, and sports, you can also come to our website, CrossroadsToday.com.
And good afternoon, everybody. A beautiful day out there. It's 79 degrees. Daytimes are getting warmer, but the night times are still on the cool side. Our high today managed to get up to 83. How about that? 77 is where we're supposed to be this time of year. And while it gets warm later this week, next week we're back to the sweater weather. We'll be talking more about that coming up after this. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the day. I'm pretty sure you did, because I mean, going outside in the afternoon was very comfortable. Nice, mild, soft wind coming up from the south, and plenty of sunshine. But for the next couple of days, as short term, we're going to be still warming up even more as the south wind gets a little bit stronger. This little front that you see up in Oklahoma, it's not really going to go much farther. It's probably going to start falling apart right there. So that's not really an answer for us. We look out to the west coast because things are going to get very interesting out there. Now, the northern Pacific, you know, where Alaska is, the Aleutian Islands, that's a very productive area for these big, powerful storms. And there's going to be about 3 of them slamming onto the west coast. The second one right now looks like it's going to come down and actually cool us back down into you know, a little bit of a chill. But what's happening in the eastern part of the country, well, that one's going to be a doozy. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right about now, you're looking at gentle south winds. They'll be probably up to about 10-15 miles an hour tomorrow. As the week wears on, we should be getting up to about 86, 87 tomorrow, and then about 88, 89 by the time we get to Saturday. It's Sunday when the big north wind blows in and everything changes. Tonight, we're looking for 58 as an overnight low for us. Obviously, you see this little strip right here along the water. Well, obviously that's affected by the temperatures of the water, so it's a little bit milder there and drier inland areas. And tomorrow, well, about 85, 87 out in Cuero, 87 in Gonzales, and a big old whopping 89 out there in Three Rivers. So yeah, it's a little bit of a late season cooling trend, rather warming trend. Now, here's the polar plunge that a lot of people are going to be talking about this, and some people are calling it the Arctic blast and polar vortex and all that. I'm not there yet. It will definitely be much colder, but they're really going to be looking at temperatures down to the teens and topping up in the 30s. So, you know, I'm going to save polar vortex until we get, you know, 30 below zero. So this is just going to be an early blast of cold air that's going to dip all the way down, probably into Georgia. Now, notice that we just sort of miss it. We're going to stay on the fairly pleasant side next week. Cool, but even though we're this far behind it, you thought, oh, well, we'll get some of that cold north air, but it doesn't look like it's coming in our direction, because then it starts sliding to the east, and basically, you know, Chicago all the way to New York will be all on the chilly side. As far as we're concerned, we're going to stay on the dry side. Notice this, lots of rain and snow coming in with this system. So this one is going to get everybody's attention, because this one's going to dip really far down and take that snow possibly even down to St. Louis, maybe even Kentucky and those areas. So, yep, it's that time of year. For us, we continue on the sunny side, looking for 82 tomorrow, and then in Cuero, you're getting up to about 85, abundant sunshine, southerly winds, and we stay warm until Sunday. Sunday, you'll feel a fairly gusty north wind up to maybe 30 miles an hour blowing through here and chilling us back down to sweater weather for the early part of next week. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Shawna, back to you.
Still to come, Toyota recalls more than 1 million vehicles. Find out which vehicles are included. Wall Street finishes the day slightly up across the board. The Dow rose 226 points. The S&P 500 closed up 25 points, and the Nasdaq is up more than 150 points. The price of oil is down 93 cents, putting the price per barrel below $60. Toyota is recalling more than 1 million of its vehicles over a backup camera issue. Federal regulators say when in reverse, the cameras could show a blank or frozen image, posing a crash risk. The recall covers more than 100 models and model years of Toyota, Lexus, and Subaru vehicles. They include Toyota Camry Hybrid, Highlander, and RAV4, and Subaru Solterra, model years 2020 to 2023. A Toyota dealer will fix the issue with a free software update. The average first-time home buyer is now 40 years old, the oldest on record. The National Association of Realtors says first-time buyers make up just 21% of the market. That's down by half since 2007. Experts say high prices and mortgage rates are keeping many out, while longtime homeowners with equity are dominating the market with big down payments and cash offers. The U.S. economy added 42,000 private sector jobs last month, a bit more than expected. Normally, that number is compared with the government's official jobs report, but the ongoing shutdown has delayed that data. The last report from August showed unemployment at 4.3%. Meanwhile, a new Federal Reserve report says more Americans are falling behind on debt payments, with serious delinquencies hitting their highest level in over a decade. If you are hoping to snag cheap holiday flights, time's running out. Travel site Kayak says the best deals usually pop up from mid-October to early November. For Thanksgiving, the lowest fares are expected on Monday, November 24th. And for Christmas, flying on Christmas Eve could save you the most. Holiday travel is expected to top last year's record, giving the travel industry a much-needed boost after weeks of lost spending from the federal government shutdown. Well, new baby name rankings just dropped, and the trends are shifting. Coming up next, see which names are now taking over.
Tonight, the horrific UPS plane crash, the death toll rising, what went wrong, plus the high-stakes elections, what the historic results may signal about the midterms, and the longest government shutdown in American history. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
Well, if you or someone in your family is expecting a little bundle of joy soon, Baby Center just dropped its list of the hottest baby names for 2025, and I'm sure you can still use them in 2026. Olivia topped the girls' chart, and Noah rules the boys' side. That's the same as last year. Amelia and Liam hold strong at number 2, while newcomers Eliana and Aurora made the girls' top 10. On the boys' side, Luca is back, nudging out Leo. The rankings come from over 350,000 babies born to parents on Baby Center's app. So these names are officially in style.
So
interesting names.
Yeah, when you say Luca, all I think of is Luca Brasi in the Godfather. It's like,
Yeah, I felt for a while, and I still see it, but kind of going back to those traditional names that you used to see.
Yeah.
Back in the early 1900s, and so.
Yeah. And when they asked my doctor, he said Maclovio. What is that? Some sort of spice or something?
It's a guy who can predict the weather.
Hey, sunny skies tomorrow in the mid-80s.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here for 25 News Now at 6.